free necessities for everyone. To get to that consciousness of why we should provide food, medical care, education, employment to everyone just because they're human, housing. Just because they're human, these basic necessities are freely provided by the organization of the society. In order for that to happen, it means everyone in that society must appreciate the principles of harmony.
The Optimist Show is about news, information, entertainment, and activism. Welcome to the Optimist Show podcast, and we want to welcome all of you wherever you are this time, and thank you very much for joining us as we continue to keep hope alive. The Optimist Show brings you the information as it is, and so we are glad to be with you today so that we can share together. Please like and share, subscribe to our channel, The Optimist Show, keeping hope alive. Well, I must say welcome again to another Optimist Show podcast. And certainly it's always a pleasure to be with you, to share with you accurate information. That's what we are known for. And so today in this edition, in this episode of the podcast, we are going to be speaking again with Mr. Eman. If you can recall, Mr. Eman recently was on the show to speak about Black History Month. And we are going to be hearing from him today again as to what really happened during the activities that were planned. So let me welcome all of you, as well as let me welcome Mr. Eman. Mr. Eman, so glad to have you again on the Optimist Show podcast.
Good day, Brother Coy. Yes, so glad to be here again, and good day to listeners. Thank you for listening again and sharing. I hope that what we say is uplifting, enlightening, and raising consciousness. So thank you.
I like the fact that you mentioned that one of the things that we desire as our outcome is raising consciousness. And I believe that consciousness is so important in generally in life, in facing life, the challenges of life, all kinds. And we can deal with it in a much more positive way if we are consciously aware of what the issues and what the things are. All right, we're speaking today about what was the activity down at Cameron Park. I mean, I guess that it was a bumper success. Tell me about it.
Yes, a modest success. We managed to live stream or record it for live streaming, and it's available on Facebook under Pineapple's Marketing and Communication, Grenada. And we tried to capture a segment of what took place for the performance side of things. We had the exhibition of arts and craft and books and exchange of conversation. We had special visit from a Grenadian international DJ who was passing through. Saraka was going on, so we were bigging up this. Although we were down in Cameron Park in St. George's, we were bigging up Saraka, and people were leaving from the Black History Teaching Month event in Cameron Park to go to Saraka. So that was good. Culture was ringing. The event went on well. Yes, we had a lot of good presentations, a lot of good vibration and exchanging and networking, and realizing that we need to build organization that shares consciousness. Many individuals, Mr. Coy, as you might know, many individuals in Grenada share an awakening or a higher level of understanding of life than most. Yet they would meet and talk, but there is no organization to help lift the consciousness of everyone else. Because, for example, remember we mentioned last week about getting to the point of free necessities for everyone. To get to that consciousness of why we should provide food, medical care, education, employment to everyone just because they're human, housing. Just because they're human, these basic necessities are freely provided by the organization of the society. In order for that to happen, it means everyone in that society must appreciate the principles of harmony, the principles that can make this possible. Because right now, as you well know, these principles are not operating in our current societies that we speak this language or that we know of. So it's by recovering, and part of the theme on labor is to recognize our contribution. Recognize that the Western world couldn't exist without the contribution of labor of the African Black peoples, and despite all the pains. And recognize that in order to harmonize, it's like the instruments in the band, you know? It's like all the instruments, they don't look alike, they don't sound alike, they don't play alike, yet by following the laws of music, which they didn't create, by tuning themselves correctly according to their nature, by choosing to listen to the melody and listen to each other and follow the music, great harmony is possible. You know, but this has not yet happened in the human family what's happened is that sections of people who have power over providing the instrument decide we tuning it how we want, put a guitar string how they want, put a keyboard how they want, the flute, and then just ignore the laws of music, and just the leader of the music doesn't even know music, but they're just banging away and making great chaos. You walk into an orchestra room with musicians like that, you're like, oh, what's going on? And you're supposed to accept that's music. But I was born into a society like this, where there was chaos all about and people thinking they're making music. So now that we found music, now that a few of us have raised our awareness to find out what music really is, then we could say to people, hey guys, there's a way to play. They, of course, they wouldn't listen. So all we could do is to tune our instrument, begin playing correct music, and then perhaps, if they wish, they will join and play good music too. Then the human family will find a solution.
I am glad that you raised the consciousness, awareness rather, about music and the value of music. In a time as this, when the human family is struggling to unite itself with each other, how do you think music can bring us closer to each other from the standpoint of consciousness, music, not separating the lyrics from the music, but understanding the combination, so the harmony they both create can help to heal us. How do you think we can benefit from that?
Well, fortunately, that's the main tool that has been used to spread consciousness in the Caribbean. For example, the two of the representations of groups in the Caribbean that promote or preserve or sustain some level of consciousness, awakening or raising, is what we call the spiritual Baptists or the African Baptists, or what we call the Rasta, or Rastafari, Bongo, Nati, Onai, Binga, whatever description of Rasta. Those two groups are the only groups that talk about consciousness and realizing who we truly are and why we're here. And over the years, of course, slavery is the opposite. Slavery is about you living all your life on earth, not knowing truly who you are and why you exist, but following somebody's ideas called beliefs about who you are and why you exist. And by the way, we make up our own ideas of who we are and why we exist. We tune our guitar and instruments the way we want and want to know why we can't find harmony playing. So that's the crux of the matter, is for the human to know themselves. The education, and I'm trying to say a lot of things in a small space. The education needs to be geared towards knowing who I am and why I exist. And those two groups, in the case of the Rasta, in the case of the Shango and the African spiritual Baptists, they were successfully sidelined by mainstream, whatever, social mainstream. In the case of Rasta was able to overcome being sidelined. And you know, Rasta went through a lot of brutality and death in Jamaica when they started to outreach and to share the consciousness. And this has happened to all people who have found consciousness and tried to share it in a slave exploitative place. They have been ostracized and criticized. Anyway, Rasta came through with music, long story short, and the music has helped to raise the consciousness of Caribbean people more than any other medium. Even as they impose slavery thinking by the Europeans on the minds of our people through churches, through schools, through legal system or illegal system, and all the other behavior shaping instruments of society, the behavior shaping institutions of society. That the slave teaching, they need to change, and we need to, from a place of not switching masses as we tried in the revolution, try to switch capitalist or ism or slaveryism for some kind of other ism. Nah. When you find out who you truly are and why you exist, and the community around you know who they truly are and why they exist, The automatic harmonization, organization of people and resources and planet and environment and care in this organization is automatic. So it's a long story to teach different people with different opinions or to share with them on their level, their perspective, their immediate interest of how they could fix the problems they're facing. But it's better we share that knowledge, which when everyone attained to it, it could fix whatever interest they're in without we having to address it. Some of them automatically fix, and some of them you know what to do and the next 2 or 3 steps to get it fixed. And again, harmony is result. So yes, music, definitely. And of course, Baptist music and Shango rhythm, of course. They have kept the tradition, but it was not marketed or was able to reach marketing as reggae or even soca or calypso. We know there's a bit of Shango production of music in Trinidad, and our own Ella Andal have some great Shango rhythms. So it's not all disappear, but they have contributed and they have also made an impact in raising the consciousness of our people.
You mentioned Ella Andal, and of course from Trinidad and Tobago. What do you say about our status here in Grenada, in our society, in our community? You think that level of consciousness abounds, that people are gravitating towards it? I mean, there is no Ella Andal type person here in Grenada who takes that on directly. How do you see us here in Grenada? Where we stand in that, and what we need to do to enhance it, in your view?
Right. The people like Ella Andal carves a space in the culture and shares and provide those who want to know can have a place to go and know. We're yet to do that in Grenada. In Grenada, we have it a little bit. The organization, however, is in need of repair and need to expand and grow. It needs to change some of the ideas. We have to be careful that in adopting a spiritual cultivation system, a system that leads you to know who you are and why you're here, in adapting one for our purposes, we have to be careful we're not imitating some other ego-pleasing, title-promoting, resource-scrounging system. And the only how we can do that is by the leaders of our institutions being in the knowledge, because we cannot teach what we don't know, right? I cannot speak to you in Japanese. I don't know Japanese. And therefore, in order for a teacher or leaders to lead people in the correct path of self-knowledge and purpose, then they themselves must have found it. But as you know, our leaders have spent the last how many years from kindergarten to primary to secondary to college, university, and how much degrees or levels of 20, 30 years of being in a system that only gives you one aspect of what the slave master understands. And then you are brought into a position of leadership over the people who need to be free from the slave master. And all you end up doing in the attempt to free them is to bury them deeper in the slave master's lap. But this has become global now. And one of the salvations for the Caribbean people is that it's become global. The whole globe has been buried, all cultures in the indigenous purity, and we'll talk about that later on. All cultures in the purity has been contaminated and become practicing what the slave masters imposed. The people who came and destroyed their lands, they did not try to recover the lands at this modern time when physically there's nobody chaining you or so. Of course, it's economic chains and other mental chains and media chains, but the slaves can choose to free themselves and return to Africa harmony, the harmony that existed in Africa, the harmony that allowed people to relate without prisons, and where food and housing and medical care and education was automatically free. And where your contribution in luxury was your contribution, and you had a luxury and you had recognition for your talent, whatever it is. And that problems were resolved, that issues were talked about. And there was community activity and community planning and the environment, which is the earth, which is our big body, taken care of. When our European brothers and sisters visit all these pristine places that we mentioned last time, Australia, Africa, the whole of Africa, and North and South America, Caribbean, Grenada, right? All the indigenous places, North and South America, all the indigenous places where people lived in harmony, was raped and pillaged, and value was put upon things, and land had value, and you could own property, you could own land. You know, come on, all of us knows that upon that great blessed death day, the body goes back to the land who owns it. What has happened in the slave master society that we could think we own land and sustain this ownership of land against our people, where one person have thousands of acres and one don't have none? Nah. If we return to the harmony of the African peoples and the people of the Caribbean, the Kalinago who live there, land owned man, of course we respect each other's space. Of course your father and your family plant a circle of trees for you and that's your spot. Of course the community build your home for you and taught you about things in life and manhood training and girlhood training, and you learn how to become a man and a woman in society and take your rightful place. Of course these things were in place. Why don't we recover this harmony and bring it back to our people rather than continue this? And it's because, Brother Kai, all leaders don't know. So hence this program, those of us who think we know, it's important to share. And it's important to share now because it's a global thing. It's no longer Grenada losing Mount Hartman, Las Vegas, and Libera. That destruction of Libera, we don't know what we have done. But it indicated that the rest of the planet is in a similar condition. So all of us who think we know, now it's time to speak and share, because to survive the changes that are coming would be only the correct answer. No longer can the deceits of the slave master and his minions and the spin story people, no longer can these stories hold us. They can't hold anything, they can't hold the earth. These lies have been all over the earth now, they cannot hold anymore. So it's only the truth. Or the nuke. I think we choose truth, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and our African peoples, and if we go into, I mean, I don't know if you have time, but just to indicate that there is teachings. The teachings of this harmony is available, it's here. Yes, they took it and hid it and so on, but since the internet came on board, you can find information, right? On the harmonizing principles of places like Egypt, right? The harmonizing principles of places like Mali, right? The West Coast, all the great empires, the Zulu people. And then that's Africa I'm talking. We could go to Australia and the Aboriginal peoples and the great stories and the great relationship they had with the climate, the land, the rocks and the seas. We could talk about the Caribbean people and their harmony, traveling in canoe up and down the whole Caribbean, trading and living in harmony. They were not hostile people killing each other every day. We know who is the hostile people who came and wiped them out. You know, so it's time for us to open our eyes clearly and see. And be not afraid. You know, Uncle Corey, we're born with two natural fears. The fear of falling and the fear of a loud noise. And by the time we cross 5, 6 years old, we ain't afraid to fall because we can walk and we like the music turn up so we dancing. We ain't afraid those. Every other fear that we have has been imposed, given, offered to us by something that did not create us. Something that, because we had two natural fears. The thing that created us gave us two fears. The fear of falling and the fear of a loud noise. The thing that we have created give us all these fears. Right? The church teach fear. You have to fear burning in hell forever. The school teach fear. You have to fear failure. And whether you don't or whether you're bright and whether you pass the exam and whether you get your high marks, whether you go home, it teach fear. The medical teach fear. You have to get this medicine and this injection and this treatment and this cost and this travel. Otherwise you go dead. The insurance company teach fear. If you take this, you think of blow down, I got nothing, so be insured. Every aspect, the government teach fear, you go find you a penalty. Police, military, everybody teach fear. Who teaches love? Who teaches harmony in our society? Yeah? So when you look at these things, if you open your eyes and look around you, the life that we live, then two things you realize there's something wrong. And the second thing is that there must be a better way. I know some people are so badly damaged that they do not conceive there could be a better way. But just go back to your history. Look at the history of your people. The only people that we have found, and my body is mixed up of different peoples on the animal level. Thank God animal is innocent. The only peoples that didn't have harmony in our known history is our European brothers and sisters. They're the only people that never harmonized with themselves, with the environment, or with the other nations they met when they began to learn how to travel. And the very people who helped them to civilize themselves after crash landing here is the very people they terrorize and plunder to this day. So this knowledge needs to be known. Just go online. Everything is online now. And we can live from this perspective. Okay, so we know the past, we know the problem. The solution is what? Is to find the principles of harmony. To find that, each person must find out who they truly are and why they exist. To find that, you need to go to your heart and find out who beat in your heart. If you can't get to your heart, go to your breath. How much time to the day you do that? Who doing it? Contact that person. Contact that thing or whatever it is. Contact that. And you're all right. Everything else will flow. Simple teaching. Primary school teaching, by the way. It's supposed to be happening before puberty. Simple like that. It's difficult for adults, but for children, it's easy for them to find who's doing that in them. Adults have so much weight and chains and luggage and psychological barriers and fears and inhibitions and all kind of, cells, don't have that. So they can't contact the thing beating the heart or the thing moving the breath. But once we do that, Uncle Coy, there is no other way. I mean, and I cannot eat the banana for you. I could bring the banana and offer it to you. But to get the nutrients and the taste and the flavor of the banana, you need to eat it yourself. So beware of those who want to eat knowledge for you. No, this knowledge of who beat in your heart and who you do in your breath is only you can tell you who that is. I can only share with you to do it, the exercise. I cannot tell you who that is. And I can't tell you who I find that is no use to you, except to create war and talk and argument and opposition, if that's what Massa like. But only you can tell you who you are and why you exist and perform that role for which we are here. And I guarantee you, once you work from that level of your heartbeat and your breath, guaranteed whatever you do is harmonious, beneficial, uplifting, and the purpose of life.
Well said. Well said. I think I want to refer to you as Professor Amen because
oh dear.
You have eloquently and really you have explained to us in a way that we do see the need for harmony. We can see the benefits of us living together. Together doesn't make sense. We occupy the same space and we are far apart from each other. So I want to say thanks to you. I mean, of course, you took us through the Black History Month experience, and you linked us to our ancestors, the experience of slavery and slave masters, and you have appealed to us for consciousness and awareness, to be awakened, to understand that, we do have a part to play in turning things around as we have seen it. So, again, Professor, amen. Kwabena, amen. Thank you.
Yes, Professor Coy. Yeah, man. Just tune the instrument and let me learn to harmonize and play good music. Whatever instrument we are, doesn't matter. All instruments are relevant and has a significant contribution to the music. Yes. Thank you, sir. All the blessings. Until next time.
All the best to you. Guidance.
Thank you. Guidance, blessing. Yes. Until next time. Yes.
Okay then. Bye.
All right.
Tossed and battered, bruised and knocked down, forever changed. But from the rubble, hope rises. The Optimist Show returns.
Thank you for joining the Optimist Show. Please let us know what you think by leaving a comment and giving us a thumbs up and subscribing and of course spreading the word. You can always rely on the Optimist Show to deliver accurate information. And guess what? I'll see you on the next show.